Old. Number 14. A Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Mysterious body parts aren't the only strange things found on Canadian beaches. In April of 2012, one beachcomber who makes a living by finding and selling things found on the shores made a stunning discovery. After exploring the beach for a unique treasure, Peter Mark stumbled upon a large storage container on the coast of Graham Island in British Columbia. When he opened the rusted container, he found a 2004 Harley-Davidson Night Train motorcycle with a Japanese license plate attached to it. After many people found numerous Japanese marked objects on Canada's western shore, the connection was made that these objects had washed out to sea after the 2011 tsunami hit. On March 11, 2011, the devastating tsunami hit the Miyagi Prefecture, injuring and killing thousands of citizens. A year later, and traveling more than 4,000 miles, a large container made its way onto Canadian land. Ikkyo Yokohama, the rightful owner of the Harley-Davidson motorcycle, was tracked down and was soon offered a brand new bike from the company. The owner refused and asked if the vehicle could be displayed at a museum as a remembrance of the lives lost in 2011. The motorcycle is now part of the Harley-Davidson Museum's permanent display in Milwaukee. Number 13. A grand piano in New York City. There are a few things that can shock the New York City natives, but when a grand piano appeared under the Brooklyn Bridge, no one could hide their excitement and interest. The Mason and Hamlin piano submerged itself under the bridge in 2014, and the story remains a mystery to this day. No one knows where it came from or why it ended up on the shore. Some think it was planted there as an art installation, while others assume it must have fallen out of a moving truck. No matter the history, one thing's for sure: New Yorkers didn't miss a beat and took the opportunity to take memorable photos and videos. The mysterious piano was too damaged to work or make any sound, but that fact didn't stop the public from taking things into their imagination. One video was captured of a local going into the sea, wanting to play a little tune with the deaf instrument. Many musicians even decided to bring their instruments and play on top of the grand piano. The professional photographer Richard Corman even used this instrument as a prop for shoots, taking breathtaking pictures of a ballerina. "It's just gorgeous. This setting is surreal and I've never seen anything like it," says Richard. But as all good things must come to an end, the Grand Mason and Hamlin piano started to slowly erode over weeks, eventually losing its footing and charm. Number 12. Metal pipe. One extraordinary thing that was found on the coast of Norfolk is something no beachgoer could miss that day. Imagine visiting the ocean for a relaxing day and finding a 1,500-foot or 480-meter-long giant pipe along the shore. When an Icelandic container ship smashed into pipes north of Norway, some parts of the plastic pipe were drifted away to Norfolk, England. Don't worry, the beach day wasn't ruined, as many people were ecstatic to take a picture with this unexpected find. Number 11. Kinder eggs. What's better than Kinder eggs? Finding thousands of them swept ashore on the beach. After a fierce storm rocked a cargo ship traveling from Germany, hundreds and thousands of plastic eggs containing tiny toys were dropped on the seacoast. The little residents on the island of Langug were more than happy to help out with the cleaning of the beach. The mayor allowed local kindergartners to go wild and find as many of the eggs as possible, and in return, they could keep the toys. Number 10. Lego Man. Finding little leftover toys and knickknacks on the beach isn't new or profound anymore, but one particular Lego toy construction made headlines. Ego Leonard, a Dutch painter and sculptor, decided to have his days of fun on the beach and left giant human-sized Lego men in numerous countries. The UK, the Netherlands, the US, Austria, and Japan all had a visit from the enormous Lego figure with its signature message, "No real than you are." While some might call it random, others call it a great photo op. Number 9. Severed feet. Not all strange things found on the beach are fun and lighthearted. British Columbia, a district in Canada, became notorious as the land that sweeps up severed human feet on the beach. Since 2007, more than 20 detached human feet have been found on the coasts of the Salish Sea, all appearing under mysterious circumstances and unexplained events. While some of these cases were tied to missing person investigations, half remain unsolved to this day. A truly odd trend, as no other body parts have turned up on the Canadian shores. Before we move on, be sure to subscribe to Top 5s with notifications on. Number 8. Blue Dragon. Don't be fooled. These little blue dragons may look adorable and small, but they are in fact highly venomous and even harmful. This blue fish, also known as the blue angel or blue glaucus, is a species of brightly colored sea plug that is usually found in the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans. These blue creatures can range in size, but most are as small as a pinky. But size doesn't matter, as the blue angels are extremely toxic and dangerous. Their sting can cause serious harm and should not be touched with bare hands. One particular part of Australia that's favored by the little guys is the Gold Coast. A British tourist was enjoying his first day of vacation on the sandy beach when he made a surprising discovery of about 20 glaucous creatures. Ricky Lancaster recalls seeing half of them turned over and the other half laying on the border where the sand meets the shore. When faced upward, they blend with the blue of the water, and if they want to blend with the silver surface of the sea, they face downward. As these sea creatures are masters of disguise, they can be a little harder to find and spot, but if you do, remember not to pet the adorable blue angels. Number 7. Alien Jellyfish. Speaking of mysterious sea creatures suddenly appearing on the shores, the alien jellyfish have become a common find amongst the beachgoers. One South Wales native was left completely shocked when he discovered thousands of alien jellyfish on the shore. The tens of thousands of the sea creatures that were captured on film are actually Portuguese man-o'-war jellyfish. If you thought the blue dragons were toxic, wait till you find out about the so-called alien jellyfish. These sea predators are highly venomous siphonophores who have a series of long tentacles attached at their ends. These tentacles are covered with stinging cells that deliver powerful shocks and ultimately kill the prey. The Portuguese man-o'-war tend to colonize and travel together. That's why the video shows thousands of them swept up at the shore. This interesting species of jellyfish don't actually swim and instead use wind and ocean currents to propel and travel forward. And while most are the size of human hands, they can actually grow to be 6 inches or 15 centimeters tall and have tentacles as long as 165 feet or 50 meters. These harmful creatures have been found all over the world. While they prefer Australia, aka the land down under, some colonies have been found in Florida and Mumbai. Over 50 visitors who came into contact with the harmful jellyfish were stung and seriously injured. So while you keep an eye out for the blue dragons, make sure you watch out for the Portuguese man-o'-wars as well. Number 6. Sneakers. One item of clothing that kept washing up on beaches across the UK were Nike sneakers. After a cargo ship lost one of its containers during a heavy storm, hundreds of pairs of shoes were distributed over the shores. As the shoes were clearly unworn and appeared as numerous groups, the conclusion was made that it must have come from a cargo ship accident. The first incident happened in September of 2018, when Guy Ribeiro began noticing strange items washing ashore off the Flores Island. The remote Atlantic archipelago of the Azores soon housed all sorts of footwear. From flip-flops and slippers to gym sneakers and running shoes, about 60 Nike shoes were retrieved by Ribeiro. The events continued to happen in Ireland and Cornwall, when more than a dozen pairs were found from mysterious conditions. The cargo ship accident must have been remarkable, as even more pairs were found scattered along the beaches in Bermuda, the Bahamas, France, and the Channel Islands, all thousands of miles apart from one another. Number 5. Gypter. Gypter is a word that has haunted the minds of beachgoers all over the world. These mysterious rubber-like blocks have been found in Indonesia, the UK, and Europe. For many years, the true meaning behind the word remained unsolved, and as more people started to discover the blocks, the more everyone wanted to find out the truth. Tracy Williams was walking her dog along the beach on a fateful evening when she came across the puzzling object. What's even more shocking is that weeks later she found a similar block on a different beach. As her curiosity piqued, she started to dig deeper into the meaning of the word and where the blocks originated from. Williams eventually made a Facebook page where like-minded people gathered and shared their experience of the beach discoveries. These blocks were found all around England and Wales, and even made headlines in the Netherlands, Germany, Spain, and France. As the fan group grew with members with shared experiences, the mystery of the Jupiter case was finally solved. Tracy ultimately learned that the rubber blocks came from World War I and the Titanic shipwrecks, and the word Jupiter turned out to be from a plantation in Indonesia, which operated in the early 20th century. Before modern plastics, these blocks were used to form golf balls, picture frames, and even jewelry. Number 4. A plane. In November of 2019, a World War II American flight plane was discovered in North Wales. Quite a lot of information is known about the object that found itself on the sandy beach. This aircraft was flown by Robert F. Elliott, a North Carolina native who was just 24 years old when he encountered difficulties and had no choice but to crash land. And while the pilot walked off unharmed, he was reported missing in action a few months later. The plane that crashed in September of 1942 has been buried 2 meters below the sands and has been uncovered 3 times in total. The first sighting happened in the early 1970s, later in 2007, and most recently in 2014. This stunning uncovering of this monumental piece of history was so remarkable and exceptional that the Cadw, a historic environment service of the Welsh government, has given the plane schedule status, meaning it's protected by Wales. The pilot's nephew actually visited the site in 2016 and was emotionally moved by the historic monument. I am honored and delighted that the Cadw has given official recognition of my uncle's plane as a scheduled monument, said Robert Elliott, who was never after his heroic uncle. The exact location of the plane remains confidential as a way to protect the monument from thousands of visitors. But one thing is known: this wrecked plane is one of the most significant World War II-related archaeological discoveries in recent history, and is the first military aircraft crash site that's protected by the UK government. Number 3. Giant eyeball. On a fateful evening Wednesday morning, one beachcomber was doing his jobs and minding his own business when he came across an item that seemed ordinary at first. The beachcomber decided to keep the item that he had found at the Pompano Beach as a souvenir, but after cleaning it properly, he realized it was something extraordinary. The ball-like figure he found turned out to be a giant eyeball. The softball-sized anatomical part was later reported to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. But after weeks of intense research, the creature whose eyeball wound up on the Florida beach remained a mystery. After this accidental gem was found and posted on the Commission's Facebook page, the mystery eyeball went viral all over the social media platforms. Many tried to help with the investigation by coming up with interesting and plausible theories about what sea creatures could have lost this anatomical part. This blue-colored and softball-sized eyeball was originally thought to belong to a monster, a giant squid, or even a whale. But after a bit more in-depth research, the mystery was finally solved. The Fish and Wildlife Research Institute used genetic testing to figure out which big fish this gorgeous eyeball belonged to. And finally, the conclusion was made that it came from a swordfish. According to Joan Herrera, a researcher at the Institute, the color, size, and bone structure all around the eyeball is reminiscent of a swordfish's anatomical configuration. Herrera also added that based on the straight-line cuts around the eye, it was probably removed by a fisherman and discarded into the sea. So instead of keeping the gem as a souvenir, the fisherman ultimately threw the body part away, which was later discovered at the Pompano Beach. Number 2. A bomb. An ordinary family day on the beach is meant to be relaxing and fun for children. But one family beach outing turned terrifying and potentially deadly when an active bomb was found. Kelly Gravel and her husband took their kids on a fun outing at a Wales beach when the mother suddenly noticed a large object by the shore. As many random objects are washed up by the coast every day, the mother of 2 thought it was a buoy, a navigation mark that made itself on the warm sand. Kelly was so convinced it was a harmless floating device that she even encouraged her kids to pose for pictures with the buoy. The kids eventually got comfortable with the giant metal ball and even touched the barnacles on it, knocking on the buoy too. 5 days after the family discovered this mysterious washed-up object, Pembroke County Park made an official announcement that the buoy discovered was actually a military mine bomb. After finding out the truth about the active bomb, Gravel and her husband were left completely shocked and devastated. What makes this random find absolutely astonishing and jaw-dropping is the fact that the military bomb blew up a few days later. The family turned out to be extremely lucky and fortunate to not have it explode right before their eyes. Number 1. The Montauk Monster. Easily the most famous and notorious strange object found on a beach was the so-called Montauk Monster, an unidentified sea creature found near a Montauk shore. The story begins in 2008, when Jenna Hewitt alongside her 3 friends were enjoying their day in the sun. When the girls saw people hovered around one spot on the beach, they decided to take a peek as well. What they discovered was something no one could expect or predict. Lying in the middle of Montauk Beach was a creature so odd-looking and mysterious, no one could point to a species or breed. After the picture of the creature made national headlines, the public started speculating about the origins of the monster. Many ideas were soon declined. The monster couldn't have been a sea turtle, as they don't have teeth or fur. The eye ridge and feet don't match that of a dog or coyote. The creature couldn't belong to an ovine species because sheep don't have sharp teeth. But finally, after much deliberation and research, it was concluded that the Montauk Monster must have been a raccoon that underwent decomposition during the ocean action. To this day, the Montauk Monster remains one of the strangest things discovered on a beach. Subscribe to Top 5s for more and check out some of our other popular videos.